Posting about how upset you are about what's going on in this country while simultaneously contributing to why this country is going to shit is so counterproductive. And a lot of it is based in ignorance. A lot of y'all are professional complainers and professional victim mentality harborers. So you always want to blame other people. You always want to point the finger at other people rather than take accountability and responsibility for your own creations. So, as much as you're sitting here complaining about what you're upset about in this country, a majority of you have actually been sitting there contributing to the problems of this country. So I'm going to keep saying this. I'm going to keep reiterating this. If you are upset about what is going on in this country, you need to start looking at yourself, looking at what you're contributing in, looking at where your money's going, looking at what you are supporting and funding within this entire realm. Are you an OF model that works for Israel? Israel, it's an Israeli company. Just saying. What grocery stores are you purchasing from? Where are you getting your coffee? Where are you getting your gas? All of these things have to do with funding a war. So once again, I'm just going to keep saying, get out of victim mentality because you're not a victim. None of us are victims unless we choose to be and want to be. You just want to sit there and take it. No, you can get up and do something different every day. You can get up and educate yourself. You can take your power back simply by educating yourself and not focusing on what's outside of your control. That's a big, big, big lesson for a lot of people. It was for me too. My world got so much easier to manage and maintain when I stopped worrying about everyone else outside of me and what they're doing, what they have going on, and comparing, because comparison is the devil. So we don't do that in this house. We focus on what is within our control. And we don't focus on what's without our control, because that's going to drive us insane and mad and make us feel like we're victims of oppression and suppression. We have no power. Why focus on the power that you don't have rather than focus on occupying the power that you do have and growing it to be even bigger, better, and more impactful? That's how we go from being a victim to being a creator. That's how we start being a creatrix in our own life. That's how we be a real alchemist. We're able to transmute shit and turn it into gold. That's Scorpio's medicine, is I'm going to turn nothing into gold. I can turn lead into gold. I'm not going to sit and be a victim to anything ever, no matter what happens to me. I'm always going to get up on my own 2 feet and take responsibility for what I can and not worry about what's outside of my control, because that is outside of my control. It is a fool's task to worry about what is outside of our control. It's very distracting and counterproductive, in my opinion. So if you're worried about what's going on in this country and you're like, oh, I'm so helpless, all my rights are getting taken away, focus on what you can do to preserve yourself, to preserve your rights, to preserve your freedom, rather than sitting there just giving your power away just by even saying those statements or talking about those thoughts, echoing those words into ether space. You're spelling yourself. How about you spell yourself for greatness? How about you spell yourself for something amazing rather than something rooted in victim mentality? Because being a victim is only ever going to keep you a victim. And this is not to say that there aren't real victims in the world. We have all been a victim to something in our lives, but it's our responsibility to choose to either stay a victim and be limited by that because of whatever payoffs we've been receiving, or because we don't actually want to stick up for ourselves and stand up for ourselves and step into the space of being responsible, or we can heal and no longer be a victim. We can be like, yeah, I was a victim, but I didn't let that rule my life. I didn't let that control where my life went. I took my power back. I stuck up for myself. I worried about what's inside of my control versus what's outside of my control. That's just my advice for people that are finding themselves in this loop of being a victim. You're only a victim until you choose to not be one anymore. And take it from someone that I'm speaking as a healed perspective, because I have healed myself from this. So I'm trying to help those. It's a very hard, sticky energy, and a lot of it is the mucus in the body. I'm just saying that. So if you can thin your mucus, if you can work on getting mucus out and healing your gut and removing parasites from your system, parasites can definitely progress victim mindset and fear. Fear and victim mentality are parasitic consciousnesses. This is why you find a lot of people that find themselves to be a victim hanging around other victims, because it's their parasites hanging out and trying to authorize the reality of being a victim. And it makes the body, the host of that person, occupy a colony full of those parasites. So, yeah, when it comes to consciousness, parasites, cleansing the body, detoxing, fear, energy, it's all about detox. How healthy is your vessel? How healthy is your mind? And it's not just about the surface. Oh no, you have to go deep. This is shadow working territory. And this next 6 months we have is shadow working territory. Buckle up, buttercups. A lot of y'all are going to be going through dark nights of the soul because you have either been avoiding them or it's time for you to go through one. There are people that can support you through that as well, but you have to be willing to do new things. You have to be willing to stop lying to yourself. You have to be willing to look at the patterns that you have been entertaining, that have been creating these parasitic strings and colonies within your body, within your world, within your family, within your home. So yeah, don't stress about what's outside of your control. That's just stupid. Focus on what you can control. That's mastery. And take it day by day. Stop stressing out about things that want you to stress out. Stop being in fear because it's taking your energy. You're giving your energy away every day you sit in fear. Just saying. Love you guys. Be strong. You're here for a reason. You were made for this. You got this. Everything's going to be pretty fine. And it's going to depend on the spectrum of how well you can face your shadow.